There are certain things that confident leaders should never do, and the first one is ask for approval. Confident leaders believe in themselves and their decisions. They don't feel the need to constantly ask for approval if they want to do something. Do you think I should ask our client to pay their invoice on time? This isn't something a confident leader would do. Having said that, they are not arrogant or obnoxious either. They don't make decisions solely on their own because confident leaders know they are a part of a team, and as such, they should involve their team in decisions. So while confident leaders don't ask for approval, they do get input and suggestions from other people. Confident leaders don't downplay others to lift themselves up. This means they don't criticize, belittle, or make other people feel less than just to make themselves feel better. Candace, I don't think you can explain this concept well enough in the presentation, so why don't you let me do it instead? This isn't something a confident leader would say. Instead, they would support and encourage the other person because they don't feel threatened by them. They're confident in their own ability and they want to see others shine too. A confident leader would say something like this: Candace, of course you have the competence to explain this concept. You've just explained it to me perfectly. This is your opportunity to show others how smart you are. Now, this is more in line with what a confident leader would say. If you've liked what you've learned so far in this video, I encourage you to hit the like button below and to subscribe to my channel for more content like this every week. Confident leaders don't get defensive when other people disagree with them because they know that everybody has the right to their own opinion and sometimes they might get it wrong. But they are confident enough to hear other people's opinions and to admit they might be wrong. They don't see differing opinions or being wrong as a failure, and they don't see it as a sign that they're not intelligent either. They see it as a learning opportunity to help themselves improve for the future. Because self-improvement is an area that confident leaders are very invested in, which leads us to the next point. Confident leaders never back away from a challenge. In fact, they face challenges head on, and in some cases, they purposely go after them because they know that a challenge is a place in which they can grow. A challenge is something that tests them, that forces them to learn, develop, and improve. Compared to someone, say a non-confident leader who shies away from challenges, who chooses to stay comfortable because it is familiar, it is what they know. When I was 19, I had the opportunity to study in Japan for 1 year. I could have chosen to not go. I could have chosen to stay at home with my family and friends in an environment that was familiar to me, in a language that I knew. But instead, I chose the path of adventure. I chose the challenge of going to Japan and studying there for 1 whole year. I immersed myself in the language, in the culture, and I became pretty good at learning Japanese. I grew so much as a person during that year when I was 19 years old. It is the most memorable time of my life. There is so much reward for facing challenges and for doing something different to what you normally do. You just have to think about what the reward will be for you and for the specific situation that you face. And you also have to think about, is it worth it? Confident leaders never put the blame on somebody else. If they make a mistake, they own up to it. They don't try to hide, cover up, or blame somebody else for their mistake. They take responsibility for their actions, whatever the repercussions might be. And when they take responsibility for their actions, they do it in a confident way. They don't play the victim card and expect everybody else to feel sorry for them. They take action on fixing the problem. They focus on finding a solution, not on being the victim. Confident leaders never use indecisive language when they speak. They know how to communicate confidently, present their ideas in a confident and a decisive way. And being a leader, they also know how to delegate and give feedback in a decisive way so nobody is left confused. Candace, I need you to email client XYZ and remind them that their invoice is 2 days overdue. Could you please send that email by the close of business today? Indecisive communication creates a lot of problems in the workplace. It not only leads you, the leader, to appear like you lack confidence, it also puts into question your level of competence, and it creates a lot of confusion with your team. You might think that you are being polite or pleasant to work with by being indecisive or by communicating in an indecisive way. You might think that by being decisive, you will appear arrogant or aggressive to other people. But that is not what happens. In reality, People love clarity. It helps people to know where they stand and what is expected of them. And this is especially important when you, as a leader, are communicating with your team. So be decisive. If you want tips on how to communicate in a decisive way, then watch this video up here. I'll also put a link in the description below. Confident leaders never compare themselves to others. I know this is extremely common. I am guilty of this myself from time to time. But even if a confident leader falls into the bad habit of comparing themselves to other people just for a moment, they soon pull themselves out of it because they know that it serves no positive purpose in their life. It only makes them depressed. In these moments, the confident leader will remind themselves of what they have that the other person doesn't. They'll remind themselves of their strengths, their talents, and their accomplishments to give themselves a boost of confidence. Or they use the other person as a guide in order to understand what they need to improve on to get what the other person has. What do they need to improve on to achieve what the other person has achieved? This is a great routine for you to get into if you find yourself feeling less than because you are comparing yourself to others. Confident leaders never pretend they know when they don't. They don't go into conversations pretending or giving the impression that they already know what that person is telling them, especially when that piece of content or information is new to them. You may have picked up that people do this in conversations when you are telling them something new. They are nodding their head, they're going, yeah, I understand, and acting as if they already know what you're telling them. And deep down, you know that this is new information for them. This is something that confident leaders never do. When people do this, it's usually because they lack confidence within themselves and they don't have enough courage to admit that they're learning a new piece of information. They don't want to be found out. They see not knowing as a weakness, so they pretend to know when they don't. This, of course, can be detected by reading the other person's body language or by asking them specific questions about the concept you are explaining to them. For you as a confident leader, you need to remember that it's okay to not know. It's okay to learn something new. And in fact, it can be very helpful when you're interacting with your coworkers or with other people in the workplace because they feel that they are teaching you something. And this really helps you to connect with them better. This video was all about things that confident leaders never do. If you are interested in learning about how to become a confident, poised, and elegant leader, I encourage you to watch this video right here. Thank you so much for watching this far. Please like this video if you did like it. Subscribe to my channel as well to see more content like this in the future. And I will see you next week in another video.